The Archons and how to escape the matrix, Gnostic Gnosis. What if the fears, the distractions, and the chaotic thoughts you experience daily aren't entirely your own? What if something unseen has been influencing humanity from the shadows for thousands of years? In 1945, near the town of Nag Hammadi in Egypt, a farmer stumbled upon a discovery that would shake the foundations of everything we thought we knew about reality: 13 leather-bound codices. These were forbidden texts, hidden away nearly 2,000 years ago by the Gnostics, the knowers, who were hunted for their dangerous knowledge. Among them was the manuscript, the hypostasis of the Archons, the reality of the rulers. This ancient document described in chilling detail a group of non-human entities that exist just beyond the edge of our perception. Entities whose sole purpose is to keep human consciousness trapped in a spiritual simulation, a prison planet. They are called the Archons, a word meaning rulers in Greek, and they are the cosmic parasites enforcing a system of spiritual control. This is the full story of the Archons, their origins, their methods, and the ancient techniques you can use to recognize and overcome their influence. The Gnostic cosmology and the false god. To understand the Archons, we must journey back to a time before time, to the mystical cosmology of the Gnostics. The universe began not with a bang, but with a divine dream emanations of light from the source, the true God or the monad. From this infinite source came divine beings called eons, who dwelt in harmony within the pleroma, the fullness of pure spirit. Among these was Sophia, the embodiment of wisdom. But Sophia made a grave mistake. In a burst of passion and curiosity, she attempted to create without her divine counterpart, fracturing the cosmic balance. The result of this solitary, arrogant act was the birth of a malformed blind entity, Yaldabaoth. This being also called Sakla, the Fool, and the Demiurge was the first Archon. He was cut off from the light, completely unaware of the greater realms above him. And in his arrogance, he proclaimed, "I am God, and there is no other beside me." This was not the voice of the true source. It was the delusion of a being born of error. Yaldabaoth then created his own realm, the material universe, a dim, flawed reflection of the divine pleroma. And from his essence, he spawned the Archons, a host of subordinate rulers designed to maintain control over this counterfeit world. The Gnostics believed that the physical universe itself was crafted as a spiritual prison, not by the true God, but by this deluded, lion-faced, serpent-bodied entity and his archonic agents. They were not creators. They were imitators, counterfeits of the divine order, lacking the spark of spirit. The parasitic strategy and the matrix. The Archons exist in a liminal zone, a metaphysical middle ground between pure spirit and dense matter. They operate in two primary forms, as described in the ancient text: embryonic fetal, humanoid in shape but incomplete, often described as having large heads and expressionless black eyes, disturbing reports that eerily resemble modern accounts of gray aliens. Beast-faced, possessing androgynous bodies with faces like beasts. Their leader, Yaldabaoth, having the face of a lion and the body of a serpent. Their existence is parasitic. Their goal is to trap the divine spark, pneuma, within human beings, keeping it bound to the material realm through fear, distraction, and illusion. They do not create, they control. The harvest, feeding on Lūch. How do these invisible entities control billions of human beings? They feed on what they call Lūch, a specific type of emotional energy produced by human suffering, fear, anxiety, and low vibrational states. We are, in the most literal sense, an energy farm for non-human intelligence. The counterfeit spirit. Their control is maintained through the counterfeit spirit. The Archons infiltrate your mind, attaching themselves to your consciousness and mimicking your thoughts and emotions. The voice of self-doubt, the irrational fear before a leap of faith, the sudden wave of shame that paralyzes you. Many of these thoughts do not originate from within. They are engineered responses implanted by archonic influence to keep you tethered to fear, guilt, and confusion. The architecture of control. The Archons operate not just in the mind, but through global systems and structures. These are not just cultural developments. They are the evolution of an ancient strategy, religion. When dogmatic and rigid, it demands obedience over inner knowing, Gnosis. It teaches you to worship external gods and await salvation from outside, preventing you from discovering the divine spark within. Government politics creates endless conflict, division, and fear. Left versus right, nation versus nation, designed to harvest vast quantities of Lūch. Education science conditions you to accept material reality as the only reality, denying the soul and promoting the idea that you are a meaningless biological accident. Media technology floods consciousness with distraction, noise, and fear-based narratives, preventing introspection and spiritual inquiry. The false light trap. Even within spirituality, they mimic the voice of the divine, promoting spiritual bypassing, the idea that you can ignore darkness and ascend. This is a trap. The Archons want you to ignore them. The path to liberation, the Archons' power is entirely dependent on our unconscious agreement. The moment you see the pattern and realize the voice of doubt is not your own, their grip weakens. The key to liberation is Gnosis, direct, inner, experiential knowledge of the divine. The principles of Archonic immunity, emotional sovereignty. The Archons rely on emotional volatility. To deny them sustenance, you must develop equanimity. Feel your emotions fully, but do not become them. Observe fear, anger, or shame like clouds passing through the sky. In this state of detachment, you become invisible to their primary attack mode. Anchor in the pneuma, the Archons can manipulate your body, emotions, and thoughts, but they cannot touch the deepest essence of your being, your spark of uncorrupted consciousness. Your spiritual practice must be identifying with this essence, rather than the temporary ego constructs. Reject the reincarnation trap. According to Gnostic teaching, the tunnel of light at death can be the Archonic recycling machine. If you encounter beings of light who tell you to return for karma or lessons, the Gnostics advise you to reject them. Assert your divine sovereignty and demand passage beyond the Archonic realms to the pleroma. Withdraw consent. Their entire system depends on your unconscious agreement. Every time you accept a limiting belief, participate in their fear-based narratives, or believe you are powerless, you consent. Withdraw your consent. Reclaim your sovereignty. The ancient technique to see them. The Gnostics discovered a specific technique to shift human perception and see these entities that exist at an adjacent frequency to normal waking reality. This is for awareness, not entertainment. You cannot unsee what you see. The Archons are most visible during transitional states, dawn and dusk, and in low light conditions, as bright light forces your mind's cones to dominate, obscuring subtle layers. Here is the technique, broken down into steps. Peripheral vision activation. Do not focus intently on any single point. Soften your gaze. Allow your vision to become diffused. The defocus stare. The 1,000-yard stare. Pick a spot approximately 6 to 10 feet, 1.8 to 3.0 meters away. Relax your eyes until the spot becomes blurry. You are trying to see the space between yourself and the wall, not the wall itself. Low light and stillness. Sit in dim, ambient light. Your body must be completely still. Breath control. Control your breath to alter your brainwave state. Use a rhythmic pattern. 4 seconds in, hold for 4, 4 seconds out. Hold for 4. This shifts you from beta, waking consciousness, to alpha, relaxed alertness. Silencing the internal dialogue. This is the most crucial step. Become the observer of your thoughts, watching them arise and dissolve without engaging. In the gaps between thoughts, perception expands. The flicker phenomenon. They will appear not as solid forms, but as flickers, shimmers, dark shapes, or moving shadows that defy physics, appearing and disappearing at the edge of your visual field. Many have seen them already, as that fleeting shadow in the corner of the eye. Detached observation. The warning. When it happens, do not react with fear. Fear is their weapon. It lowers your frequency and gives them power. Observe with detachment. If you practice consistently, you will see them, and they will become aware that you can see them. This intensifies the need for gnosis and spiritual immunity. The choice to awaken. For centuries, this knowledge was buried. But now, as the old systems crack and the shadows grow louder, it is resurfacing. Gnosis is returning not as dogma, but as a frequency. The Archons fear one thing above all: the awakening of a sovereign human being. A human being who reclaims their inner light, who refuses to be governed by fear, and who chooses presence over programming. The world around you will continue to pull at your attention, but every breath, every moment of stillness is a doorway back to truth. The Archons need you, but you do not need them. This is the moment, the rise of awareness from within. You are not powerless. The final choice is not out there. It is in you.